I learned that style and self-esteem were innately connected. And I also learned that I could make other people look at themselves differently, truly see themselves differently. And you know the saying, seeing is believing? That's shortcut for something else. Seeing yourself differently means that you can feel something different about yourself, right? And if you can feel differently about yourself, you can think something different about yourself. And if you can think something different about yourself, then you can believe something different about yourself. And all you need is a nudge. And that's why style is so important to me. I got bored of runway shows. Everybody was looking at every other editor and being like, is she wearing more expensive shoes than me? I mean, it was just meaningless. And all of a sudden, I found myself in this tiny studio. I forgot that people were actually watching this show, right? Because it was me, and it was Clinton, it was a couple camera guys, and a woman who needed to see herself differently. And I swear to you, the first time I put a mom of 3 in a pair of jeans that made her ass look great, I felt something change. I felt me start to feel better about myself for being able to help someone else. And the greatest thing about that was that I realized it's compassion, right? It's empathy. All of the things that these women thought about themselves, they weren't good enough, they weren't worth it, they didn't deserve it, were all things that I would say to myself. And if I was going to tell these women the truth, how beautiful they were, how wonderful they were, and really mean it, I had to give myself a break too. And about season 5, we really started to hit our groove, which was realizing that we didn't have to be nasty, right? I mean, break them down to build them back up. We could be snarky and funny, but we always had to let that person know that we cared about them. And that what we were doing was to help them find an identity that truly belonged to them. Because the root of the best style you can have, the cause of the best style that you can have, is self-awareness. And I mean something very specific by that. You have to understand your body. You have to understand your taste. You have to understand what you love and what you hate about your body. And then you have to let go of that emotion. I learned that you can judge a book by its cover. Because when people don't feel okay in their skin and in their body, you will be able to tell. If you hide what you don't like about it, that is the first thing people are gonna see. Hiding in your clothes implies shame. And I never want women in particular, because I think that women suffer from such an emotional identity crisis from the way that we look. I mean, and that has to do with society and advertising and the way that we've been raised and brought up. The issue with that is that if you are emotional about it or think that you're not enough, or you compare and despair and all the things that, you know, are sort of those phrases, you get in your own way. You are all that matters. Fashion is about an industry that is run and built on insecurity. Style is about an individual finding what works for them. If you start shopping for what you want instead of just buying into trends, the designers are gonna have to change what is trending. They're gonna have to listen to their consumer. And when you're talking about a $3 billion industry for fashion and beauty, that's you are gonna make a big difference. It's just as important as you guys voting. We want to see ourselves reflected in an industry that's made us feel like we're not enough. Enough of that. Enough of not being enough. Amen.